Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. HTM here with another ESO discussion. And I'm just going to be honest here, but I've been thinking a lot about whether or not to keep playing ESO lately. I mean, the game has been through so many changes this year, and for those of us that have been playing since the beginning, it's not easy to just stand by and watch where the game has been going. I created another video about this recently where I talked about the unspoken roadmap for ESO. I'll have a link for that video in the description if you're interested, but the basic idea is that we've begun to see a major shift this year in how ESO's developers are supporting the game and prioritizing its content and its updates. My theory is that most of the changes we've seen this year, and we'll probably continue to see next year, are focused on bringing in new players and fresh money, rather than really supporting us long-time or end-game players. Now, I know from a business standpoint that is important, that is necessary to keep the game alive, but for those of us that have been playing for a long time, we still want to be supported as well, and we need reasons to keep coming back and playing this game. Anyway, I'm still very on the fence about whether to keep playing right now. I'm hopeful that we'll be able to move forward this year and in 2020 to a better, more fun ESO experience. That's what I'm hoping. And that's what this video is really about, because ESO has the chance to still be an amazing, amazing game even after 5-6 years being released. So in this video, I want to talk about 5 simple things that ESO developers can do to keep veteran players playing the game and even bring back some players that might have already left. So number 5 on this list is very simple. It's just better communication between the developers and the players. Now, we've seen some good attempts at this communication between us in the past. Things like the ESO live streams, the class representative program, website articles. But in my opinion, the communication is still pretty random and it can be hit or miss at times, especially when it comes to things like patch notes. For example, just this last week, we saw some significant changes to sorcerer pet builds, with a 50% nerf to one of the main class skills for that particular build, Daedric Curse. With such a significant change that will affect many players, you'd expect to see some commentary, maybe discussing the reasons for the change, maybe some mathematics behind the change, the purpose of pet builds, relative strength between other builds, other playstyles, and so on. What did we see though in the patch notes? Nothing. No developer comments, no explanation, no vision moving forward for this playstyle, literally nothing. And it's important for them to understand that when the developers say nothing, it actually is saying something. It says, we don't really care about how you like to play, we're just gonna push our own playstyles through the game, regardless of what you guys like. So overall, we just need more consistent communication discussing any changes that are happening in the game, so we understand the reasons why, and we don't just assume that they don't care. So number 4 on my list is to slow down the changes in 2020. Now, 2019 has had so many changes. I literally don't even remember the changes we had 6 months ago, because those changes were overwritten about 3 months ago. And now those most recent changes are about to be overwritten again this week. It's just too much. It's too much for me at this point. A common complaint I hear from players is, I just got my build figured out, and now I see the new patch notes and everything I work towards is about to change. Why do I even try in the first place? What's the point? I mean, think about it for a minute. If you were trying to balance something, let's say it's the picture on your TV or on your monitor, would you take every slider, every single option you had, and lower them all by the same amount at the same time and say, job done, this is balance? No. No, you wouldn't, right? You would start with one slider or maybe one option. Maybe you'd start with the brightness on your TV first, and you would lower it or you would raise it just a little, and then you would stop. And you would look at the overall picture, and then you'd see if you need to adjust it more. Maybe next you'd need to put a little bit more contrast. Okay, raise that up 1 or 2. Stop and look again, right? How has this balanced the overall picture? Still a little blurry? Okay, let's raise the sharpness just a little, right? So maybe 1 or 2 tweaks at a time. Small incremental changes like this are what ESO needs moving forward. I'm really hoping that there's no more sweeping balance changes next year like we saw this year, because it's just exhausting, right? Many players like myself feel that we just can't keep up anymore, or maybe they just don't want to put in the effort. And then those players leave for other games. So slow down the changes, focus on the most important changes first, prioritize those, see how the game balances from there, and then move forward. So number 3 for this list is going to be a positive example, something that actually already happened, but we just need more of it, and that's community events and rewards. I think the best and most successful example of this actually just happened a couple weeks ago, and that was the Dragon Rise event for the Elsewhere chapter. Not only did we get bonus experience and bonus loot, but these were also tied into these community-wide achievements where everybody could participate and feel like they were part of this larger community. And the more achievements we unlocked, the more rewards we got. And I really like that, and I know a lot of other players did as well. And here's the thing too, the rewards this time were actually good. I did an entire video here on this a couple weeks ago because I was literally floored by how good the rewards were. We haven't experienced anything this good in like a long time. Most of the rewards we have in the game right now for participating in things are kind of useless. I mean, look at the daily rewards, for example. What happened with these? Like, they used to be good, right? There used to be like crown crates and tri-stat potions, and what happened? Where did those go? Now I have like poisons, useless like drain stamina poisons, and I can get 2,000 alliance points, and I don't even know what this is. Like, it's just whatever. It's not interesting. It doesn't excite me to log in or to participate in anything. The most successful aspect of this was the reward boxes. There was that 10 stack of reward boxes where one box you would open, and then that would unlock another box, which then would unlock another box. And people in this game and on Twitter and on the forums literally lost their mind because it was like fun. So I'm not saying that has to happen every time, but I think getting away from kind of the useless, like here's some poisons, here's some useless potions, and actually giving the players something tangible really elevates their interest in the game and helps us really want to play even more. Coming up now at number 2, I want to talk about reinforcing unique class identity in ESO. What I mean here is that each class should have unique skills and unique passives that make them feel different and play different from every other class in the game. This is what class identity is all about. Not that each class has a different color scheme, not skills with different names that do the same thing, but real differences. For example, in the Dragonhold DLC, Dragon Knights got a buff to their class dot skills through one of their passives, making those class dots, there's 3 of them, making those 3 dots 33% stronger. The reason that this is good is that this passive now reinforces the Dragon Knight class identity as the strongest dot class in ESO. And this is exactly what we want. People that wanted a dot-based attrition style build could pick the Dragon Knight class for exactly this reason. And what we see now is ZeniMax reinforcing that identity further through an updated class passive. We also saw this with the Necromancer class getting a 15% dot boost to all dots in general. So while they don't have the best dots in the game, they can combine dots from different skill lines, maybe weapon skills or guild skills, and be like this general dot specialist that's also kind of unique and definitely effective as well. So I would really like the developers to expand on this in 2020, especially with those passives. Those class passives are going to be a great place to start differentiating the classes, where some classes are better at some things than others. Something we also saw was the new bound armaments change for the Stamina Sorcerer, which was good. I mean, it was a unique, somewhat unique class skill, although it got very, very close to poaching on another class identity skill, which is the Nightblade Grim Focus and Merciless Resolve skill. So while I see the intent, ZeniMax needs to be careful when doing this so that each class still feels unique and doesn't infringe too much on what other classes already have that makes them unique. Coming in at number 1, the most important thing that the ESO developers can do at this point, in my opinion, is give us a gameplay roadmap for 2020 and beyond. Now, I actually can't believe this really happened, but there was a developer discussion on the website maybe about a month ago talking about class identity and a few other things, and the developers said they had some really amazing changes in store for the next year, but that they weren't ready to share those changes yet. This blew my mind. Like, why not? Probably the most frustrating thing for me this year was just the way every patch seemed to be random when it came to class and skill changes and balance changes, and one patch dots were up, and then the next patch dots were down. One patch AoEs are down, and then the next patch AoE damage is up. Skills get a cost increase one patch and a cost decrease the next patch. We just need a direction. Give us the bullet points. What's the end goal here? We need to know if we should continue to invest our time in this game or not. And we've seen that the ESO development team can do this. We have a performance improvement roadmap already that for the most part they have been sticking to, and they're updating regularly. Why not have the same thing for gameplay? Inform us as the community so we have a greater appreciation for the work that's going on behind the scenes, because we just don't know. We don't know what the plan is. I think that this past year might have been a lot more positive if the same kind of roadmap existed for combat and gameplay. So that's my number one thing that I'm hoping to see in next year. I hope they release something like that very soon to give us some insight into what's coming next and to give us some hope and some reason for playing. Anyways, these are just 5 things that I'm looking for that will keep me positive and keep me playing. Now I want to know what you guys think about this topic. What do you need? What are you looking for to keep you invested in this game moving forward this year and maybe even beyond that? Let me know in the comments section below. As always, if you enjoyed this discussion today, don't forget to crush that like button. It really does help out the channel. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel for more ESO content in the future. And until then, I will see you around in the next video.